4-year-old Gus Lamont rides his bike along a track near his outback station home. His parents released the video yesterday, along with a photo, as they issued a fresh plea for help to find their missing son.
If someone knows what happened, we are pleading with that person or anyone who may have seen or heard anything to please come forward.
The plea comes almost 5 months after Gus disappeared from a remote family property near Yunta, 4 hours north of Adelaide.
There's a strong emotional investment in coming to a resolution, and I certainly understand the local, national and international interest in exactly what happened to little Gus. Sadly, we don't believe that's going to be locating Gus alive, but that doesn't diminish our resolve.
Despite multiple searches in and around the property, including one last week involving a cadaver dog, no evidence or sign of Gus has been found.
Major Crime will continue working on this for the foreseeable future.
I think the hardest part about this is, of course, that presuming that Gus is deceased, there's no body to begin to connect dots.
We anticipate that he's wandered off, and that's where we're concentrating our search efforts.
Gus Lamont was reported missing on September 27 last year. It was AFL Grand Final day, and police were told he was last seen playing in sand outside his home on Oak Park Station.
His grandmother went out to find him and couldn't find him, so they looked around the area until they actually called emergency services.
The only people on the property at the time were Gus's grandparents, Josie and Shannon Murray, his mother Jessica, and Gus's 1-year-old brother. His father was living at a property more than 100 kilometres away.
Mounted police travelled from Adelaide to join the search on Monday, alongside water operations, which have been checking dams and tanks on the property.
But 6 days on, authorities began scaling back their conventional ground and air search.
Whilst we've all been hoping for a miracle, that miracle was not eventuated.
Police did, though, call in high-tech help from interstate, with surveillance drones scanning the station and beyond.
We were contacted by South Australia Police on approximately day 2 or 3.
The technology used was able to zoom in and detect thousands of animals and one person on a motorbike, but again there was no sign of the missing boy.
There is a fairly high confidence level that Gus wasn't present, and that's further buoyed by the fact that we had a number of other partners conducting their own investigations using different models and different techniques, and they came across very similar items as us.
But the investigation has continued, police returning to Oak Park Station at least 9 times to search mine shafts, buildings on the property and a nearby conservation park.
Good afternoon everyone, thanks for coming in.
Then on February 5, Gus's disappearance was declared a major crime.
On the 14th and 15th of January this year, Task Force Horizon investigators attended at Oak Park Station and executed a search warrant. And a number of items were seized, including a vehicle, a motorcycle and some electronic devices.
Police say while Gus's parents aren't under investigation, a person who lives at the station is now being treated as a suspect.
A person who resides at Oak Park Station has withdrawn their support for the police and is no longer cooperating with us. The person who has withdrawn their cooperation is now considered a suspect.
Grandparents, Josie and Shannon Murray, have hired lawyers.
Can't comment on this statement, sir.
They've released a joint statement saying the family has cooperated fully with the investigation and want nothing more than to find Gus and reunite him with his mum and dad. We are absolutely devastated by the media release of SAPOL Major Crime.
I've known that family for a very long time, and it certainly hadn't occurred to me that they might have done anything to harm this little boy.
Fleur Tiver grew up next door to Oak Park Station and has known Josie and Shannon Murray for decades. She joined the search for Gus in the days after he disappeared and says everyone was understandably devastated.
Bewildered, incredibly distressed, of course, stunned. Certainly not like any people trying to hide anything. I mean, after all, they called the police in only a few hours after he went missing.
75-year-old Josie Murray was charged with firearms offences last week during a search of the property. Police say those charges aren't related to Gus Lamont's disappearance. Are you satisfied that this was treated early enough as a potential crime?
We said from the outset that we were exploring every possibility in relation to the disappearance of Gus Lamont. We did not simply focus on the search of a missing child on the property. We were looking at other possibilities as well. I think it's fair to assume that there's a lot more work to be done, and as with any major crime investigation, we don't rest until we have a resolution.